Behold, the divine light guides us all.
Psalm 145. I will extol thee, my God, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. The Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Lord, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of the glory of thy kingdom, and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. The Lord upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest thine hand, and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry, and will save them. The Lord preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever
Show my
and
love
ever.
for you.
Abanawa, Shabashimayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwithka, Taba'a, Ratizaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'aratiza, Kawa, Haya, Bashimayim, Nathanlanawa, Lakam, Kal Yawam, Wasalaklanawa, Kawabwatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawabwatinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Haushainawa, Mayan, Rai Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahata Ba'arath, La'aiwalamium, Aman.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, dealing with the police state underway in America. All right, there's a police state that's underway in America. Okay, and before I get into it, I want to get into what a police state is, because we hear that term, all right, quite often, okay, in the news as, people are speaking about, the aggression of law enforcement, certain alternative news sites and, echo chambers, they speak about the increase, okay, of policing, aggressive aggressively policing the citizens, you'll hear this term police state, especially around Trump, okay, and his policies and the stance he has, dealing with ICE and, militarizing, local law enforcement, okay. So when you go into a police state, just a quick AI overview, it says a police state is a nation where the government exercises rigid control over citizens' lives. Okay, and this is what we're seeing increasing, man. All right, and they're getting you used, to your law enforcement. Okay, being militant, they're getting you used to seeing federal law enforcement to where it's a norm, and it's going to increase. Because ICE is just one branch of the law enforcement that the devil has to his disposal. Okay, and Trump is already pushing, to criminalize anyone that speaks against, the government, his government. Okay, so they need more authoritarian, authoritarians, like authoritarian laws. They need a more authoritarian type, like they need a more, all right, authoritarian style type government to really push this new world order through the door. Okay, because America, is too lax, it's too liberal. Okay, there's too many rights of citizens. Okay, and these things have to be diminished. So we're seeing them gradually, normalizing the police state in America. Okay, and it says a police state is a nation where the government exercises rigid control over citizens' lives, often through secret police forces and suppression of dissent, and where the rule of law is weak or non-existent. Yeah, the Constitution is going out the door. Okay, if these devils are able to ignore laws to wage war on nations, okay, on different nations, okay, you think they're not going to hesitate to bypass these certain laws to wage war on the people? Okay, because Trump has, been the most unconstitutional president America has seen. Okay, and is intentionally being like this because they're doing away with the Constitution. Okay, they finna go to a police state. Okay, it says the term is used in the context of artificial intelligence AI to refer to a potential future where the widespread and unregulated use of AI power surveillance and policing tools could lead to mass surveillance, the erosion of privacy, and imbalance between public safety and civil liberties, man. And that's what's coming. Okay, these devils are training their AI to police civilians, man. This is what this devil has coming down the pipe, to where he's training his AI to police civilians. Okay, and what he really wants is, those robots. Okay, he wants those robots, but before he unleashes robots, he has to get the AI trained up, because AI, that's what's going to run the robot. Okay, so he needs his AI trained up, and that's why he's integrated, okay, his AI within local law enforcement. Okay, from federal law enforcement to local law enforcement, AI is being used more and more heavily, man. Okay, um, so let's go here. Let me see. There was something else I looked up. I might come back to it. Yeah, I'll get into it in a minute. So let's go. Let's get some precepts. And then I got a video, and then we'll go back into some more things. All right, I got a few little things pulled up. So let's go play this quick video, because the big thing in the news now is ICE. Now ICE, is shooting, U.S. citizens, unaliving U.S. citizens, man. Whether it's a psyops or not, people actually die. Okay, Certain things are psyops and certain things are authentic. But what they're doing is preparing people's mind to be for a draconian, authoritarian type dictatorship, especially if they're going to bring on, more, false flags and, because they need to push America into a crisis, all right, to really move the needle on this new world order. So they need to America to be in this constant state of crisis, and to justify, all right, more military style policing, okay. So let's go and play this video, quick video, play about 7 minutes of it, 7, 8 minutes of it. So yeah, the video is going into how ICE spies on American citizens. How ICE is allowed to spy on American citizens. So ICE is already using software. They've linked with Palantir, to where they have access to all these databases, and they're able to even hack, your phone, It's all type of things these devils got going on. A lot of these things that we see these devils doing, they're doing trial runs, man. They're setting the stage up for a major crisis, for a major black swan event in America, man. It's going to change, all right, the trajectory of the way everything is going. Because these devils want to clamp down on this new world order, man. So let's let this play. All right, so how ICE spies on American citizens.
These days, it seems like not an hour goes by without another brutal arrest by Immigration Customs Enforcement. You've probably seen the aggressive tactics in videos online. While many people find these videos really disturbing, others question why this matters to them at all. If they're not here in the US illegally, do they really have to care? Isn't this just law enforcement in action? Today, we're going to be breaking down how ICE's expansion of power will impact everybody in the US. This is Incognito Mode. Social media monitoring is one of the big ways that the US government surveils a lot of people. In fact, if you're posting online, they're probably surveilling you right now. The State Department has expanded its use of social media surveillance to monitor anybody who wants to enter the US. But even if you're not a traveler here, you're probably being surveilled. The Independent reports that ICE is expanding its use of social media surveillance to search for anti-ICE sentiment. So if you're going to a protest or posting about ICE online in ways that they might not like, you're probably getting scooped up into a surveillance machine you might not even know exists. It's been reported that one social media surveillance tool used by government agencies, including ICE, is SocialNet, which can reportedly monitor up to 200 websites, social media platforms, and other online spaces. Some of these platforms include Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Reddit, PayPal, OnlyFans, Cash App, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Chess.com for some reason. Pretty much anywhere you are online, SocialNet is probably watching. It's been reported that ICE's Homeland Security Investigations Division has directly contracted with Shadow Dragon, which makes SocialNet. The problem with social media surveillance is that, by its very nature, it's a massive dragnet operation. They're collecting data on basically everyone, especially anyone who's posting online all the time. This massive amount of data that's being collected doesn't just go away. All this data is likely being stored and can potentially be used at any point in the future to target you for anything. So right now, these tools are being used to target one kind of speech, but in the future, an administration could choose to use it to target something entirely different.
So you have to understand, these devils already got everything, that's being said online, posted on the internet, and they're able to build a case. They can make anyone a target, build a case, put together propaganda. The devil with these systems, man, it's easy for the devil to make anyone, all right, where he will be considered a high level target, or any group of people a high level target. He knows your associates, all these different things, man. And the devil is doing a hell of an overreach with his authority, man. When you rule the planet Earth, man, you shouldn't, all right, be so heavily invested into the privacy of the people that you're ruling over. You see, only someone wicked, okay, and always up to something is overly concerned with the privacy of the masses, man. Okay? So this devil is doing a major overreach with his authority, man. This is just the beginning. Okay? This is before, he puts devices in people, and he's already doing this, man. So how much more, what level, okay, of what type of dictator this nigga gonna be when the device is in you? Okay, if he got all this going and the technology ain't even in you yet. Okay, he ain't start putting technology in people yet, man. Okay, on the mass scale, certain people got it. A few thousand people got, C-hip, brain chip. Okay, but the masses haven't even gotten this, all right, technology in them. Okay, and this is what he's on, man. Okay. Oh, my bad.
One of the first ways you might think of ICE impacting you is surveillance. Facial recognition is one of the ways we know that ICE is targeting pretty much anybody they come across who they find suspicious. Immigration officials have long used facial recognition at the border, but now agents can use it right on their phones. Using an app called Mobile Fortify, they can just point their camera at you and run your face through a bunch of different databases that does identity verification on the fly. So why is this a problem? Well, first of all, Mobile Fortify, like other facial recognition systems, has a margin of error. That means it can bring up false positives. So the app might identify you as being somebody who you're not. And maybe that person is a hardened criminal who's in the US illegally, and you might get detained. The other issue is what we call surveillance creep. This means that powerful surveillance tools are being used in more and more ways and is becoming normalized. It might be ICE agents using it today, but you can imagine a situation where a police officer is standing on a corner and just pointing his phone at everybody trying to catch a criminal. Now, you might think this kind of surveillance isn't a big deal, and you might think, hey, if cops are catching more criminals, that's great. The problem is that once a surveillance power is introduced, it's very rare that it gets taken away. While you might agree with the law enforcement actions of one administration, another administration might have totally different priorities and totally different targets. As we see in all types of situations, technology moves faster than laws. As of now, there's no federal law regulating the use of facial recognition by ICE or any other law enforcement agency.
You have a UTI at 30,000 feet. Good thing you can chat with an Amazon One medical provider from just.
ICE's use of data brokers is another form of digital surveillance. ICE isn't just buying data one-off. They also have contracts with data brokers like LexisNexis, which gives thousands of agents access to all types of data about anyone they're targeting. This means they know who you are, who you know, who your family members are, what your criminal history is, whether you own a boat or a car. All this information is readily available to ICE for anyone who they want to target. ICE is making use of something called the data broker loophole, which allows the agency to just buy data that they might otherwise have to obtain through a subpoena or a warrant. ICE has reportedly used the data broker loophole to get around Colorado's sanctuary cities laws, which prevent local police from sharing information with the agency. ICE was able to just buy data on targets rather than getting it through a process that involves judicial review. ICE has a program known as 287G, which allows it to deputize local and state police to help in deportation actions. Under 287G, ICE has agreements with some 800 departments across 40 states, with dozens more pending. This is all part of the agency's efforts to rapidly increase enforcement actions.
We're not asking them to be immigration officers. We're asking them to help us. Cops working with the cops, keep New York safe.
Named Operation Tidal Wave, ICE's expansion of 287G means a massive amount of resources across the country are being devoted just towards issues of immigration and deportation. Even if you think immigration is the most pressing issue, getting local law enforcement involved can have consequences beyond what you might expect. First of all, local police need to have a relationship with their community so that people can trust them when they call to report a crime. If your family has mixed immigration status, or even if you just look a certain way, you may be more unlikely to call the police and report a crime, and that makes everybody less safe. Another issue is that local police have limited budgets. This inevitably means that resources are going to be diverted from other things like investigating thefts or murders or child abductions. With resources from the federal government to your local police being diverted towards immigration issues, all types of other things are going to go ignored or underfunded. As ICE's power is expanding, it's sweeping up even more people into its crosshairs, not just immigrants. For example, in July 2025, Wired reported on a bulletin from the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE. The memo characterized regular activities like riding a skateboard or a bicycle as running reconnaissance for protesters and indicative of potential violence. We've also seen ICE agents arrest U.S. citizens who were nearby while they were conducting raids and arrests. According to Wired reporting, protesters are subject to all types of social media surveillance, with law enforcement building dossiers on them that can include their names, their affiliations, and the things they say online. This is a perfect example of how these tools can be turned against anyone an administration deems problematic. Founded in 2003 in the wake of 9/11 under the task of increasing national security, ICE has since become one of the most dominant law enforcement agencies in the United States and is poised to reach its apex under the second Trump administration, which has promised mass deportations on a historic scale.
We're going to have a deportation level that we haven't seen in this country for a long time, since Dwight Eisenhower, actually.
Even though news of ICE arrests and detentions are happening all the time, it's about to get even bigger. Congress recently allocated some $170 billion towards immigration enforcement, making it more heavily funded than any other law enforcement agency in the United States, including the FBI and the DEA. While the Trump administration has framed ICE's actions as removing criminals from our communities, 65% of people targeted by ICE have no criminal convictions, and 93% have no violent convictions. What this looks like on the ground is masked, unidentified ICE agents storming into restaurants and other businesses and snatching people off the street, even if they've never been involved in any crime at all. Agents are even arresting people at courthouses when they show up for their immigration court appointments. Even green card holders have been targeted. So it's not just undocumented criminal immigrants who are being targeted, it's pretty much anybody who has a vulnerable immigration status. On paper, ICE's detention rate has soared to 140% the capacity of detention centers. This has led to massive overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, lack of medical care, and other issues within detention centers. And it's only poised to get worse.
We are looking to set a goal of...
And this demon here, Stephen Miller. All right, Stephen Miller, this nigga is a complete demon. Okay? And he's all about destroying Israelites, man. See, Jacob trouble is at hand, because in this police state, you Jakes are going to be a major target, man. You tribes are going to be a major target in this police state. Okay? And the devil just getting people used to aggressive federal law enforcement. Okay? He just normalizing, he just desensitizing you to what he's going to do on a much larger scale, man. Okay? Because best believe, when the lights go out in America, man, it's going to get real grimy out here. Okay? So this devil here, man, he's the chief of staff, man. He's, running these operations, man. He's all about, okay, and he's bloodthirsty for the tribes. And this is what we're telling you Israelites, man, because the only way to get through what this devil is getting ready to roll out is through Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. Okay? Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai is the only response, is the only answer for what this devil getting ready to do, man. Okay? And this is why we're during this grace period, the Lord has his men begging, okay, Jake to repent. Jake to come back, to your power, man. You're an Israelite. Okay? Being a street nigga, real nigga in these times, a bad bitch, that's gonna be terrible, man. You're gonna be out there, man. Okay? But we know, all right, 2/3, okay, have the lot of the 2/3, which is judgment. The 1/3 gonna hear this word and repent, But until, we're not able to teach, man, we're gonna constantly push repentance, okay, before the devil really come with his move. All right, let's play some more.
A minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day, and President Trump is going to keep pushing to get that number up higher.
In June, ICE agents arrested an average.
He said 3,000 arrests a day. In 10 days, that's 30,000. Okay. In a month, that's 90,000, man. 90,000 a month. You see? This man, he's going to be like a madman, sparing none. Okay. And you know it's going to be an emphasis on you tribes, man.
Of 1,200 people a day. That's nearly twice as many as during the first 100 days of the second Trump administration.
And turn to the Lord. Okay? Turn to Yahweh Shema Shai. This is the only thing that can be done. In the times we in, the only answer is Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? Anything else is insufficient. Okay? It's going to be a non-factor. Okay? So let's go let's get some precepts, because the scriptures, describe this man when you go into the book of Genesis 25 and 27. So you got to know the origin of your enemy, all right, the nature of your enemy. Okay? Genesis 25 and 27 says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Okay? So Esau, it's in his nature to be a cunning hunter. Okay? You get into the word cunning. All right? And now this man has this technology, so he's just an enhanced, cunning hunter. All right? And he knows how to push propaganda, all right, to make it seem as if he's a hero, all right, in the midst of his, terrorizing, man. Okay? So you go into the word cunning in the Hebrew, all right? It's your die, all right, you die, okay? And it says to know by experience, okay, to know, to be acquainted with, to know, to be skillful in, to have knowledge, to be wise, man. Okay? And it begins with him hunting, the souls of men through enchantments, because when you go into the behavior of Jake is enchanted by this nigga, but then he doubles back on this TV and makes you the problem. Okay? He pushes in the media that you niggas are the problem, which you are a problem. Okay? But you are a problem that he created. Okay? A young nigga is the creation of Esau's enchantments, okay? And single motherhood, man, which he created that. Okay? Esau made that a thing. Okay? So this devil, first he enchants, the spirits of men. Okay? And then he's able to make them play the role he needs them to play in his narrative, man. He needs you Jakes to be the criminals and the scapegoat of everything that's wrong in society. Okay? So he enchants you to behave a certain way, to then he can always point at you as the problem. And now he's going to look like the hero addressing the problem. Because you people that think that ICE is just, targeting, these young niggas, they coming for all Israelites, man. He want to wipe out as many as he can. He want to get off. See, Esau want to get off on Jake, man. He's hearing the prophets. He's seeing particular things, man, chariots. And you see, he knows that he's under the gun. Okay, and while he has this power, this man want to get off on Jake, man. Okay, so in this police state that this man is getting ready to bring to the earth, all right, he's getting ready to bring to America. Okay, put emphasis on America. What he's getting ready to bring to America, man, it's gonna be crucial, man. If you don't got the Lord with you, man. Okay. So I want to go here real quick. Then we get some more precepts. Okay, because this man has become skillful, right, with his sword, with his weaponry, man. Okay, so let's go. Let me see, is it here? All right, so I just asked it, what is Palantir software? What does it actually do for ICE? It said Palantir doesn't arrest or enforce, all right, It said Palantir doesn't do arrest or enforcement itself for ICE. It says what Palantir actually provides to ICE. It says data integration. Okay, ICE has data scattered across many systems and from other agencies. Palantir's platform, mainly Gotham, let ICE pull data from multiple databases into one interface, link people addresses, phone numbers, vehicles, travel codes, and case files. All right, so when these ICE agents put that, they're able to put their phone to your face. Okay, they have access across all this data to link your face, with something on social media, man, whether it's YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Okay, access to addresses, and so they're just able to put a facial recognition, via phone to your face, and they have access to all this, man. Okay, this is what these devils are on. Okay, and ICE is just their way of rolling out, all right, the surveillance police state that they want in America, man. Okay, and they're doing trial runs through ICE. And the devil, he's rolling it out, man. Palantir said, let me get back. Let me see. It says investigative analysis. The ICE agents use Palantir to build profiles of individuals under investigation, identify associates, patterns, and locations, track case progress over time, prioritize targets based on risk criteria set by ICE. Okay, so AI is playing a major part, okay, in policing American citizens, man. Okay, and I went down here. Okay, and I asked, can AI be potentially learning how to police civilians by being integrated with law enforcement? It says yes, AI can learn to police civilians if it is deeply integrated into law enforcement system and in limited ways it already has. Okay, this man is training AI, okay, to police his new world order, man, through ICE, man. Okay. This is the police surveillance state being rolled out right before our eyes, man. Okay, and when it gets to a certain level, you can about count on it. This man is going to do a certain event for a crisis. That way, he can fully implement this thing how he wants. Okay, it says, but how far that goes depends entirely on what we allow. No, it don't. All right, ain't no we. Okay, these devils. All right, this ain't gonna be voted on. Okay, this is what these devils plan on doing. Okay, the people don't allow nothing. The people just have to deal with the order that comes from up top. Okay, only the elect. Okay, will only the elect will be delivered from the madness that the devil has going on, man. Okay, only the elect will have a covering, a hedge in these times. We're gonna be in the midst of it. Like I said, we're gonna be affected, man. We know Palantir gonna be used to build cases and files against us, is being used. Okay? But we also know there's a standard coming as well, man. Okay? So it says, we're gonna need a standard, we're gonna need a power, we're gonna need a miracle, man. Okay? It said AI doesn't learn morality or law on its own. It learns pattern from past policing data and roles encoded, and it says, and rules encoded by humans. So you don't think AI is going to be built to be biased? Okay, it's going to be built, to be prejudiced against Jake, against the tribes. Okay. And remember, AI is running off, all right, a code. Is running off patterns and algorithms. If you go back to the past and you look how they police Jake now, which, You know, now of course you got to police Jake tough. Okay, because what Esau has allowed Jake to become, okay, in his system on his watch, man. Okay, it says when integrated with law enforcement, AI can learn to predict risk using historical AI, can estimate likelihood of reoffending, areas where crime might occur, which cases get priority attention, man. And who you think gonna be the priority, man? Okay, who you think is likely of reoffending? What areas you think will crime gonna occur? What you see? So this man AI is already being trained to oppress. Okay, Jake, man. Okay, because in that same chapter, let's go here. All right, and eventually he want to roll out them robots, man. Okay, but he has to train. He's training his AI, you know, so he can unleash them robots, man. You know, because he can have the robots already on deck. Okay, but he's constantly upgrading that algorithm that's gonna control the robot. Okay, that the program that the robot is gonna run off of. Okay, that's constantly being updated. You know, they get this in-field training. Okay, mainly with ICE and the rest of these law enforcement. You know, as we seen in the video. So in that same chapter, okay, when it described the devil as a cunning hunter, all right, well, the same book, you go 2 chapters over in verse chapter 27, verse 41, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because the blessing wherewith he blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay, and this man, he's been in that same spirit since then. Okay, that deep hatred he has, all right, for the tribes, it never went away. Okay, and he's finna show that hatred. The Lord is finna unleash this man to show that hatred, man. Okay, this is the book of Amos, chapter 1, verse 11. It said, thus said the Lord, for 3 transgressions against Edom, and for 4 I would not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever, man. You know, so there's been a perpetual hatred that the devil has had towards Jake. Okay, and the Lord gonna allow Esau to get off on Jake one more time, the 2/3. They finna be judged by the sword. And you niggas that made deals with Edomites, man, you sell out niggas that made these deals. Okay, you think you're gonna ride off into the sunset until you know you're gonna have you a little cooler situation in the new world order? Nah, man. Okay, how dumb can you be to trust this goddamn devil, man? Okay, and sell out. Okay, and teach confusion. Okay, and you know in the last days you want to teach confusion. Okay, as if you're gonna be exempt. Okay, from Esau's hatred, man. The Lord controlled Esau, man. Okay, and you rebelled against the Lord to sell out to Esau. And the Lord controlled Esau, man. How dumb can you niggas be that made that move, man? All you niggas that have sold out, man. You know, how dumb do you have to be? But shows you the Lord, all right, put a spirit, all right, of ignorance on you people, man, on you niggas, man. Okay? But this devil, the Most High, finna unleash this man, okay, on Jake. You know, he gonna be running through, American citizens as well, other citizens, other heathens, these heathens. Okay, but it's gonna be an emphasis on Jake, man. All right, and this is why. Let's go here to the book of Zephaniah. Okay, you go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, in verse 1. It says, gather yourselves together, yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Okay, and how we're being gathered by this word. And who's the nation not desired? Israel. Okay, and this man, through his propaganda, he has made, all right, you tries to be the weed in the garden. Okay, and a lot of you niggas are a problem, and you play into all the stereotypes that this nigga push. Okay? And you finna get your ass cleared out. Okay? The Lord finna unleash this man, and he finna clear 2/3 of you niggas out, man. What you gotta go? 2/3 niggas, women, men, and children are the 2/3, man. Men, women, and children are the 2/3 gotta be cleared out, man. Okay? But we teach this word for those of the elect, man, that's gonna turn back, man. You know, and the Lord has us teaching for a reason, man. You know, it's always somebody just hearing his word. Okay? As the Lord told us to be watchmen and give them warning from him. And what he's getting ready to do, because it's going to be the Lord that's going to be swinging Esau like a sword out here, man. Okay? And if you didn't repent during this grace period, man, okay, you stuck to your folly, you know, you scoffed, you shrugged off the prophets, okay, you're going to be a target. Verse 2, it says, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, man. So before the Lord sent forth the decree, because everything is obedient to the Lord's will. Okay, Esau is being held at bay until the Lord just fully unleashed this nigga, give this nigga the decree, okay, to just go hard body, man. Okay, and we come to the time where the Lord he gonna bring forth that decree, man, and turn this nigga loose, man. Okay, and Esau, he's gonna have the anger of the Lord upon him, man, as he's judging. Okay, before he's judged. You see, so the Lord gonna get one more good use out of this nigga, man. Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, in this third world war, in which he's gonna be judged. Okay, in this third world war, man. Okay, so before the Lord sent forth the decree, before he issued a decree for these things to come to pass, okay, for his anger, okay, to be unleashed in the earth, it said, before the day of the Lord's anger comes upon you, seek ye the Lord, all you meek of the earth, man. Humble down to the word. You know, this is at the forefront of the message of the prophets, is for our people to humble down to the word, man. You know, we're right here at the door. Okay? But if the Lord's allowing his word, you know, to go forth still, well, there's still the doors of mercy are still open. Okay? Well, you have to humble down to come into the truth, man. You know? Like a newborn babe, like little children, man. You have to humble down. Okay? It says, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid, all right, in the day of the Lord's anger, man. And we want to be hid. Okay? We want a hedge. We want protection, man. You see? We want a standard lifted, man, against this devil, man. Okay? But it starts with, you know, faith, repentance, and obedience, man, to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. Okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that out, you know, Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I'm going to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations, hopefully. Shalom.